Hi guys, hello beautiful people, welcome back to another video on Kavi Space. So today, as the title of the video says, as the thumbnail suggests, I'm here to share the books that I have not hated in general. It's not like I have hated books, no I don't, but there are books that I hate. That's a different case. But today I'm going to share books that made me feel like God, I am trapped. Means, you always read, or I personally read as an escape from reality. That's why I love fiction. Very few non-fiction books are there that I usually recommend, read, and suggest. Fiction is basically meant so that I can leave all these things here and get transported to a different, world. But when you pick a book, at times, you feel like, damn, I am trapped. Because there is no way you can just close the book and just leave it there. Because, you receive books from publishers, from authors as publisher copy. And then you have no other way but to complete it some way or the other. And trust me, that was a bad part of reviewing books. And right now I'm out of it. I'm much more like, if I don't like the book, I keep it aside. That's it. Before getting into the video, let me make this clear. All the books mentioned here are of my personal choice, and everything that I feel about them are my subjective opinions. This is not meant to defame or belittle any authors or their creative work, but as a person, as a reader, I think I can share my views, and that's what I'm doing here. Usually people put up books like what they loved, what they really disliked, but this particular video is somewhere in between. It's not like books that I loved, also it's not like books that I hated. It's somewhere in between, because these books had something good in them, but at the same time they were quite awful to me. So the first book that I would like to share is one of my earliest review copy that I received from the author. It is Faith and Beloved. Trust me, this book is hell thick. It's way too thick, and I think that's the only reason why I felt trapped. I have read thick books, I have read bigger books, I have read big plots, but I felt that there were a lot of characters coming in and going out, and it was so confusing. After a point of time, I lost track of characters, like what is happening here. Okay, because a lot of things were happening. And I read this book as an e-copy when I did not have Kindle. I read it on my phone, and due to my initial enthusiasm, I completed the book. Like, I wanted this, I had this feeling I should complete it somehow, but I was unable to complete, because the more I dive into it, the more I was feeling confused and more I was feeling disheartened, and somehow I just completed the book, guys. Seriously, I'm not going to tell you the plot, I'm not going to tell you anything about it. Just what made me feel suffocated and what I feel was good in the book will be also mentioned. So the plot was good, the climax also wasn't that jaw-dropping, but too many characters were like, they were way too heavy for my head. So this is one book that I felt like trapped while reading. The second book that I found a bit suffocating was My Girlfriend's Journal. This book actually, trust me, I had high hopes about it. But once I completed the book, actually I wasn't reading it, I was editing it much more. Like, I was circling grammatical errors, I was circling subject word disagreement, and I was doing all the editing stuff to the book rather than reading it. And it was like a manuscript in my hand. And I cannot blame the author, because this is his first work. So definitely there will be lots and lots of things to be, corrected. The content of the book was also much more Bible. Okay, don't think that I'm an anti-Christian. No, the thing is, I don't think I needed that version of Bible. And there were like further 2 books in the series which I haven't read, so I don't know much about it, but this particular book wasn't for me. Okay, the next book, guys, please look at its cover. I was so hyped and I was having a lot of expectation from this book, but this book ended nowhere. You had all the stuff, all the story, everything coming together, and then all of a sudden nothing happened. I was so frustrated, and even there were some editing, grammatical mistakes which really disturbed me. and I even remember I was so intrigued to the book. It was so nice, but it was going nowhere, and by the end I felt so my god, I cannot tell you. Okay, and I remember the book was 200 pages, like 200 plus pages long, and I was reading it during my B.Ed days. In between my B.Ed assignments, I wanted to finish it somehow, but nothing happened. So yeah, this was also a book that made me feel like, Kavi, you are trapped. You have to read this even if you don't want to. The next book is going to create a major controversy, which I don't care, because the next book is The Silent Patient. Everyone loves it. Okay, at least 80% of the reader base loves it. I don't. I did not like the climax, to be precise. It's not the language, it's not the character, it's not the story building, it's not the character building, but it's just the climax. Being a thriller, okay, climax is everything, and how can you just ruin it up? And exactly the author did the same, and I was so frustrated, but at the same time I was happy, guys, because I did not purchase the paperback copy of this book. I was so happy that I read it on my laptop, and but while I was reading, I felt like, okay, I should have got a paperback copy. But once I completed it, I was like, thank God I did not purchase it. And I finished the book in 2 days, because the language is so gripping and you cannot wait to find the culprit, and once you find it, you are like, is this what I read all these pages for? So yeah, Silent Patient, not my kind of book. But I loved the other book, The Maidens, by the same author. I felt that to be more authentic rather than Silent Patient, but Silent Patient is a big no for me. Now the next book. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. Again, I'm totally fine. It's none other than Colleen Hoover's book, It Ends With Us. Yes, I did not like the book. I'm not going to recommend it to anyone. I'm not going to even tell anyone that I have read the book, because it was so problematic for me. And then I came to know about the author background and author's other works and its criticisms, and everything made sense. But that doesn't mean people who read the book are bad. No, people who like the book are bad. No, that's your choice, your personal choice. We all have different tastes, but don't come at me and say that It Ends With Us was a beautiful book. No, it was beautiful in terms of language, in terms of certain dialogues. Yes, there were some catchy phrases, beautiful romantic phrases, but again, okay, spoiler alert, you are a lady who has gone through a lot, you suffered a lot, you had a very abusive partner. Finally, you decide that, okay, I don't need anybody, okay, I don't need a boyfriend, I don't need a husband, I can live on my own, and now you have a kid. And then what you do is you go back to your puppy love. Then why did you feel all empowered? So yeah, this was another book that made me feel like, why the hell did I read all these pages? Yeah, I could have read something else. So yeah, It Ends With Us, and I ended things with Colleen Hoover right from that book. That's it. Then the next book. This book, once I received from the publisher, even its title is quite pessimistic, Love to Hurt You. And once I received the book, but we have this thing inside us, readers, that never judge a book by its cover or by its title, although we slightly do, but we shouldn't totally. Even after reading the blurb, I did not feel something wrong. I felt, normal stuff hi hoga. And then I read the book. I was traumatized, to be honest. I think that is some way the, success of the author, that he writes traumatizing stuff and it feels traumatizing to the readers. But I did not sign up for such a book, trust me. And I had a talk about this with the author also, and we had a long talk actually, and the author was trying to justify his creative work, which is totally fine, but I cannot accept a book like that. Never. And there is a scene in that book where the protagonist, who's a dark person, dark personality, this guy kills a pigeon, and the description of that particular thing is way too much for me. I don't need such things in my life. So yeah, Love to Hurt You is another book that made me feel like trapped. I started and I was like at 5th or 6th chapter, and I was like, how am I going to complete it? But I had a hope that okay, this is going to get better, that undying hope. I kept on reading and nothing happened. It's okay. So yeah, this book. Now this is a Booker Prize shortlisted book. I don't know why. Literally, I don't know why. I read this as a part of our book club's book of the month, and even I voted for this book because I was curious. And once I read the book, I started doubting myself that what was I curious about. But many of my club members loved the book, so I guess that is much more personal. But yeah, I don't know why I read the book, except for some stories that I liked actually, and some were quite okayish. I don't know, maybe lost in translation because the book was originally written in some other language, and some stories just felt too awkward, and some were like disgusting, and yeah, I felt trapped while reading the book. And again, I had undying hope, guys. I tried to complete the book. I read something like 7 stories or something, but after that I couldn't. I couldn't digest. Again, my personal opinion, but I don't know. So guys, that's all I wanted to share. Books that made me feel trapped, and not in a good way. But I would love if you people could pick up this book and see if our thoughts and wavelength match. Whether you also feel that this particular book isn't good, its climax wasn't jaw-dropping, or it had disgusting stuff, etc., etc. If you can check it out, I would be really happy to have a discussion, healthy discussion on it too. And yeah, that's it I had to share about books that made me feel trapped. So until we meet again, take care, stay healthy, stay hydrated, and if possible, read 5 pages a day. Bye.